The Stairway to Heaven by Zecharia Sitchin, author of The 12th Planet. Mythic memory has long held that somewhere on Earth there is a place where we can join the gods and transcend death. In The Stairway to Heaven, Zecharia Sitchin deepens his fascinating explorations into Earth history by looking at this longing for a return to the divine. Examining legends of human attempts to ascend like gods to heaven in search of immortality, he delves into the lives of the pharaohs of Egypt, who taught how to travel the route of the gods to the eternal afterlife. The Sumerian king Gilgamesh, who journeyed to distant lands in his quest to scale heaven and ward off his mortal fate. Alexander the Great, who believed he was actually the son of a god, and Ponce de Leon, who explored Florida in search of the legendary Fountain of Youth. Finally, he leads us along the gaze of the Sphinx, the sacred guide for remarkable insight into this archetypal passion for eternal life. Dear reader, the Earth Chronicles series is based on the premise that mythology is not fanciful, but the repository of ancient memories, that the Bible ought to be read literally as a historic scientific document, and that ancient civilizations, older and greater than assumed, were the product of knowledge brought to earth by the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came. The 12th Planet, the first book of the series, presents ancient evidence for the existence of an additional planet in the solar system, the home planet of the Anunnaki. In confirmation of this evidence, recent data from unmanned spacecraft has led astronomers to actively search for what is being called Planet X. The subsequent volume, The Stairway to Heaven, traces man's unending search for immortality to a spaceport in the Sinai Peninsula and to the Giza Pyramids, which had served as landing beacons for it, refuting the notion that these pyramids were built by human pharaohs. Recently, records by an eyewitness to a forgery of an inscription by the pharaoh Khufu inside the Great Pyramid corroborated the book's conclusions. The Wars of Gods and Men, recounting events closer to our times, concludes that the Sinai spaceport was destroyed 4,000 years ago with nuclear weapons. Photographs of Earth from space clearly show evidence of such an explosion. Such gratifying corroboration of audacious conclusions has been even swifter for the lost realms. In the relatively short interval between the completion of the manuscript and its publication, archaeologists, linguists, and other scientists have offered a coastal theory in lieu of the frozen tracking one to account for man's arrival in the Americas. In ships, as this volume has concluded, have suddenly discovered 2,000 years of missing civilization. In the words of a Yale University scholar, confirming this book's conclusions, and are now linking the beginnings of such civilizations to those of the Old World, as Sumerian texts and biblical verses suggest. I trust that modern science will continue to confirm ancient knowledge. Zecharia Sitchin, New York, July 1990. Zecharia Sitchin was raised in Palestine, where he acquired a profound knowledge of modern and ancient Hebrew, other Semitic and European languages, the Old Testament, and the history and archaeology of the Near East. He attended the London School of Economics and Political Science and graduated from the University of London, majoring in economic history. A leading journalist and editor in Israel for many years, he now lives and writes in New York. One of the few scholars able to read and understand Sumerian, Sitchin has based the Earth Chronicles, his recent series of books dealing with Earth's and man's histories and prehistories, on the information and texts written down on clay tablets by the ancient civilizations of the Near East. His books have been widely translated, reprinted in paperback editions, converted to Braille for the blind, and featured on radio and television programs.